This is Secret America with your hosts, Jack Danger and James Clary.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Jack Danger, along with James Clary, and we wish we could come to you with some better news, but apparently, James, the news that we have is that Jeffrey Epstein didn't have any clientele. He apparently never raped any young women. He'd never blackmailed anybody, and I guess he killed himself for nothing. I mean, that's what it seems like is happening here, James. I mean, you tell me, what is the DOJ and FBI thinking right now? Because there's a few skeletons that we're going to open up during this episode.
Yeah, so this is insane news, and I'm glad we decided to do this, Jack. I know you were anxious to talk about it, as was I. I honestly had a very busy day at work. I didn't even find out about this till about an hour ago. So I haven't had a ton of time to look into it. But so the DOJ issues this memo. It basically says that, like you said, we found no evidence of a client list. We found no evidence that Jeffrey Epstein used videotape to blackmail anybody. But let me ask you this, Jack. Ghislaine Maxwell is in jail for sex trafficking. Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of sex trafficking and was charged and imprisoned for sex trafficking. And he supposedly killed himself, but there was no evidence. Why did he kill himself? Why is she in jail? We know this is a lie. But so let's break it down. I mean, what are your thoughts? What the hell do you think is going on?
Well, it's funny because this is coming from multiple fronts. One, I think it has a lot to do with Israel. I think, one, they want us to focus on Israel, and actually Kash Patel actually said that. Why doesn't America wake up and focus on Israel? That was actually one of the first things that he said. In fact, I want to play something for you guys here in a second once I'm able to do the whole share screen thing. I want to do that because there seems to be that the Israel seems to be part of it. And I don't know if you know this, James, but FBI, the head of the FBI, Kash Patel, his girlfriend, Alexis Wilkins, actually works for PragerU, which is like this media conglomerate kind of thing. And the CEO of PragerU is actually a former Israeli intelligence officer, which I found to be very interesting. Not only that, but the fact that, the FBI, CIA, and most likely the Mossad had their hands in this whole Epstein blackmail operation. This comes as the same time as Diddy is found not guilty of the serious charges for which he was charged, which also have to do with almost the exact same thing that Epstein was charged with, the sex trafficking and the whole lot of it, where he was videotaping people in his mansion as well. So no matter which way you look at it, it seems to come back from the Israel point of view, but there's also another point of view. So there's two things. One, it has a lot to do with Israel. I mean, you got his girlfriend who works for an Israeli intelligence officer. You've got him saying we need to focus on Israel, our staunchest ally. And you've got a whole bunch of other things to that note. But also, did you know that the FBI, the first time they caught Jeffrey Epstein, they actually made him an FBI informant? In 2008, he was caught in Florida, was made an FBI informant, and he was doing these things while being an FBI informant. So not only is there proof that Epstein had ties to the FBI, but that this most likely not only went on with their permission and knowledge, but most likely at their behest, along with the CIA. They can't release those names. They can never release those names. And to get you off of it, James, they have to say it never existed. They're hoping you'll forgive, forget, and move on. That's what they're hoping for, James.
No, they're not only hoping on it, they're planning on it. That's exactly the game. And you got to remember in 2008, when he was convicted, the prosecutor Acosta said, when asked about it, why would you give this horrible man this sweetheart deal where he only had to show up to the jail at night? He was literally free to walk in and out. And Acosta said, look, I was told that Epstein worked for Intel. That means CIA, and it was above my pay grade. It's not the FBI. He may have worked for the FBI. This is my opinion. It's way beyond the FBI, dude. This is intelligence, and it's a combined CIA, Mossad intelligence operation. And there were very, very important big people who had been videotaped, who had been blackmailed. And I think it's basically one of those deals that, what did Carlin say? It's a rigged game and you ain't part of it, something like that. Jack, there's the fear that if this stuff was released, it could literally tank the U.S. stock market. I mean, you're talking about CEOs of some of the biggest companies in the world. You're talking about very important politicians. There's no way this was ever going to get out, ever. Now, this is one thing I want you to think about. The CIA, Mossad, and you know what? They work hand in hand, particularly in this. Look, we know Epstein was a Mossad agent. Ghislaine Maxwell's father was Mossad. He introduced Epstein to Ghislaine. He was Mossad. So this is a Mossad CIA operation. Netanyahu's on his way to DC right now. Look, this can never get out. Now, there is just one thing, because I know everyone's really pissed at Cash, Bongino, Bondi, and Trump, and I am too. I have heard it said that they had 10 years to get rid of this evidence, 10 years to clean it all up, to delete it all. And literally they had it prepared to hand it like a hand grenade to the Trump administration. It's like, oh, here you go. And there's nothing there. But I'm going to push back on that a little bit, because Pam Bondi said, when asked about the client list, said it's on my desk for review right now. And you might find that video from Uma Abedin, who also said on Fox that, yes, we've seen it. We've seen the clients. It's horrible. And now it's time for accountability. So I'm not going to let the Trump people off on this. I mean, it was Benny Johnson that suggested, I think maybe they were handed these files and they'd already been erased. No, they said that they had the stuff. Now,
yeah.
I think it's, Jack, I just think it's just too big. It also shows you that the president of the United States doesn't hold the real power in our country.
No, the president definitely doesn't hold the real power. And I think we've been over that with the whole only thing they can do is executive orders thing. Hell, they don't even make the laws. All they can do is sign or not sign something. So really, the president doesn't have much power. But I will say that, no, we're not going to let Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and any of them off the hook. I think Pam Bondi should resign or be fired. And honestly, I think Kash Patel should resign or be fired also, because I thought these people were people you could trust. And let's be real, it's not too big. It's not too big, because if these people are corrupt, they need to be taken out. These people rape children. They need to be taken out. We can have special elections, bring in new people. Would the economy go down for a short period of time? Would there be chaos? Maybe for a very short period of time. But we can have governors appoint new people to these seats if we have to. But these people need to be taken out of our government because they rape children. That's what it's all about. That's what this whole thing is about. They rape children. But the thing is, if you give up this stuff, you can't blackmail these people. And that's the whole thing. If you want to control these people, you got to keep this information to yourself. Why do you think Diddy was found not guilty? Instead of he said, all right, tell you what, you find me not guilty and make sure I don't kill myself, I will make sure to keep my mouth shut. Epstein didn't say such things. That's why they had him kill himself. And I want everybody to see this real quick, because I got the screen sharing now. I want everybody to see this right here. This right here is a FBI memo right here about a case file. And it says right here that Epstein had also provided information to the FBI as agreed upon. The case agent advised that no federal prosecution will occur in this matter as long as Epstein continues to uphold his agreement with the state of Florida. Right here, he is talking about how he provided information to the FBI way back in 2008. For the first time, he was caught for child prostitution and a whole bunch of other matters. So he was providing information back to 2008 to the FBI. So you better believe that they used him, not just to provide information, but him, the Mossad, or the FBI, the Mossad, the CIA, they're all thinking, well, hell, if he can do this, I tell you what, why don't we prop him up with a lot of money and let's see if we can get all these other people blackmailed and we can control what we want. We can have unlimited budgets. We can control politicians and everything. And I want everybody else to see a few other things right here. In fact, this is a photo of Jeffrey Epstein's cell. Okay, this was his cell door right here with the crime scene tape over it, right? This is the video that the DOJ released today. First of all, this is not a video of his cell door. The cameras were, quote, malfunctioned, apparently. So this is not a video of his cell door. I don't know what the hell this is a video of, but it's not his cell door. You can tell because it's at an angle.
Well,
it's not.
What they were saying is that this video shows that nobody entered the cell block. That's what.
Now, how the hell do we know that?
Oh, I don't know, but I think the most important thing, and I'm sure you're going to get to it, is that there's a freaking minute missing from this.
Yes, there is 60 seconds between 11:59 p.m. and 12 a.m. that is missing from this video, miraculously missing. Not to mention the fact that, James, we don't know what the hell this shows. This could show anything. I mean, I don't know that this shows. Actually, you know what? I believe I was told that it shows. If you go through door 46 or something, it goes onto his tier, But there are other entrance doors. I would assume that there are other entrance doors, and there's a full minute missing that anyone could have come in and out. Anything could have happened at this time. And I want you guys to look at a few other things. This is very interesting stuff right here. So you got right here, this shows exactly where it is. So this right here is where the video was released. See this arrow pointing to the video that was released? Look over here where Epstein's cell is. This is where his actual cell is. This is what the video shows. Okay, there are other ways. Cross over to the far over here. There are other ways to get to Epstein's cell than this video right here would presume. It shows, this is the only spot. That's not the only spot to get to his cell. So that's first and foremost, not to mention the minute of video that's missing. So that's pretty sketchy.
Don't forget that we were told for years that the video cameras didn't work. And now all of a sudden they produce video. It's just so convoluted. It's just all bullshit.
You're absolutely right. And then I saw this post where it said, I thought he was solid at first. Then I looked into who he was dating and it all started to make sense. Who he is dating. And I want everybody to see this real quick. I'm going to bring this up if I have it on here. No, I may not have it on here anymore. Anyways, who he's dating is Alexis Wilkins. Actually, you know what? I believe it's in the comments here. I want everybody to see this. Okay, so who he's dating is Alexis Wilkins. Okay, she is a PragerU media personality and ambassador for Turning Point USA, such and such, right? Well, the CEO of the company that she works for is Marissa Straight. Okay, she is the CEO of PragerU, moved to Israel at a young age, where she completed her primary education and served in the military intelligence unit 8200 of the Israel Defense Forces.
Well,
you couple that.
You know Dennis Prager, who started PragerU. Dennis Prager is a Jew. You knew that, right?
Yeah, but then you couple all that with the fact that he says this at the end of his videos. Listen to this.
Can't hear anything, bro.
Oh, that's weird. I wonder why it's not playing where you could hear it. Huh. Can you hear it?
Nope.
Oh, well, that's odd. Anyways, I don't know why it's making it to where you can't hear it, but basically it was saying that he's saying that we need America to wake up and prioritize Israel. You can see it right here. It's quoted right here on the actual post itself. He said, we need America to wake up and prioritize Israel. And you couple that with it, you probably got a girlfriend that has, Israeli intelligence ties. I mean, there's just a whole bunch that points to not only the FBI who was gaining intelligence from Epstein, but then there's the Mossad angle with the Israeli intelligence force ties. I mean, there's just so much going on, James, that it's clearly a lie.
What the hell does wake up and prioritize Israel mean? That is freaking outrageous. What the hell is he talking about?
I have no idea, but you're right. It is outrageous. It's insane. It's insane. And especially at a time like this, they want us to focus on Israel. It's clear that there is some corruption going on here with both Bondi and Patel. It's clear that they're being told what to do, and they're willing to do whatever they're told. That's the bottom line of it, James.
Yeah, I agree. It's it's very concerning. I think the CIA has a lot to answer for. And I saw somebody post something. I totally agree. It's time for another church commission type committee hearings in Congress. I mean, and the fact that what's his name? The CIA director got pushed through so fast with nobody, even questioned it. He's a deep stater. And all this stuff is tied together. You talked about the FBI. Well, who was who was the head of the DOJ under first Trump 1? It was Bill Barr. Who hired Jeffrey Epstein at the Dalton School? Donald Barr, Bill Barr's father, who wrote a book about a future society that raped children. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, dude. It's crazy. It's all connected. And there's so many this is so dark, Jack.
It's very dark.
So dark that I'm almost hesitant to even dive into it, but we have to. This is dark, dark stuff. And the American people and the MAGA crowd, our listeners, we should demand something. I don't know. Maybe that's what we ought to talk about. What the hell can we do?
How can we force them to give us something that they're trying to say doesn't exist? And I'll tell you another thing. You notice that nobody was ever arrested out of the Hunter Biden laptop, the Anthony Weiner laptop. These are sick people. The Anthony Weiner laptop, people committed suicide. Cops committed suicide after viewing that laptop. The horrible things. The FBI has all of these things. The P. Diddy videotapes. The Epstein client list, the flight logs. Oh, yes, there is a client list, and it can be pieced together. There was a black book. Ghislaine Maxwell had a black book. Okay, the client list does exist. Okay, there were many, many clients. You can tell from the flight logs alone. But yet she said the client list is on my desk. And I'm reviewing it, and I'm going to release it. We kept hearing, a truckload of documents just arrived, videotapes, a whole truckload. We're reviewing it. Now, all of a sudden, the DOJ and the FBI are saying, hey, the case is closed. We are not going to give you any further documents. And that came pretty quick, James. Case closed. We will not give you anything else. Not only that, but they're also saying that he had no client list. He never blackmailed anybody, and there's no documents, there's no nothing. Basically, it was just an innocent man who was railroaded until he killed himself, and an innocent woman that's imprisoned for 20 years. And apparently Diddy's innocent too. I think maybe just everybody's innocent now. So, and I want to know where Trump figures into all of this, because Trump has got to know. And for all the liberals out there saying, they're hiding it because Trump is on the list. Let's be real now. If Trump was on the list, they would have revealed it during the last presidency. Let's be real. They would have revealed it so he would have lost the election. Okay. Trump is definitely not on the list. If he was on the list, he would have been revealed during the last presidency. I can promise you that. The last head of the FBI, the last attorney general, the last head of the DOJ, was some of the most corrupt people I have ever seen. They would have released that. They wouldn't have just let him win the election. But I can tell you that it's hard. Remember how I told you, James, how it's getting harder and harder to trust the Trump administration? It's getting harder and harder to trust Donald Trump. Well, let me tell you, I'm still a Trump supporter. It's right on the edge, like you, with a 50-50 at this point. But as far as Bondi, Patel, and them go, I think they should resign or be fired. This has to be. They're not flat out lying to people that know these are flat out lies. Okay, and they're wanting you to forget about it and prioritize Israel. His exact words: forget about it. Wake up. Prioritize Israel. They need to be fired or resign or something. But let's be real. maybe everything is a show and everybody is corrupt. James, what do you think?
Well, I think you have to go back to what Harry Truman said. The buck stops here. Trump appointed those people. They answer to him. I'm not letting Trump off the hook on this. I think, as a matter of fact, he should have them in his office and go, what the hell's going on? I'm sure all this has happened, Jack, behind the scenes. And I think what's happened is the CIA and the Mossad came to them and said, you can't release this. And Trump's part of it. He made the decision to allow that DOJ memo to be released. They didn't do that independent of him. They said, you can't release it. And here's why. It's going to topple governments. It's going to ruin the stock market. You know how Trump is so big on the economy. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. And if you expose these certain people, there's going to be terrible, terrible things that happen in the world. And I think they just made a decision. Well, you know, look, we're like, we don't care. Like you said, Jack, kids were raped. Children were raped. And I did a post about this. The most important thing are those young girls deserve justice. You know, how can Dan Bongino look himself in the eye, this moral character, and say, oh, well, you know, there's nothing there. And when children were raped, you know, as our friend Deborah said, you know, Ghislaine Maxwell could not be in jail if there were no clients. She was convicted of sex trafficking. It's just very disturbing. I don't know where we go with this, Jack. I really don't, you know, other than a congressional hearing. But, you know, even what I found out about the church committee hearings in the 70s, a lot of that was for show. Yes, they let some stuff out like MK Ultra, and you know, Oswald wasn't the lone shooter, but there was all kinds of things. That was a highly controlled hearing. I don't know, dude, until the citizens stand up, and we've had this talk before, maybe a tax revolt where nobody pays taxes for a year. And, you know, that would shut the government down. I honestly, I think that's one of the best ideas I've heard. But beyond that, I don't know, man. It's pitchforks and torches time, brother.
Well, James, I heard, and this is from an inside source, I heard that the Epstein client list actually committed suicide before, so that's why it wasn't able to be revealed, so we're not going to see anything from there. Apparently it had killed itself. But it's obvious that, something's going on. I mean, it's corruption to its core. Something is going on here. And I don't know what you can do when nobody does anything. Everybody, and I'm going to say it like I've said it before, Americans are too comfortable. They're too lazy. They're not willing to risk their comfortability to fight for anything more. And that's why they're willing to have people impose draconian laws on them, because they're not willing to risk their comfortability to fight. So things are going to keep getting worse and worse. And now they're not as bad as they were under the Biden administration. And that's obvious. It was pure lawlessness and just horrible things that he was doing to people. But, Trump has got to rein this in. There's no way that you can say that these people can come to you and tell you what's going to happen. You can't have the DOJ and FBI people coming to you and say, look, you can't reveal this or this is going to happen. No, he needs to reveal everything. And let's be real again, for people that are saying that he was on the list, either they would have revealed it last time, but there is not a single witness that has said, Trump is, in fact, there are witnesses that have said, they've never seen Trump there. And this, I just don't buy the whole Trump is on the list thing, because they can just white his freaking name out and put it out. It just doesn't make any sense if one person's on the list, why they wouldn't release it. It also doesn't make any sense why they wouldn't release it because of the names that are on there, because anybody that they don't care about, they can just, white out the people that are important. They won't release anybody. And that tells me something. It tells me that they want to use this information just like the last FBI, CIA, Mossad people wanted to use it. They want to use this information. They're going to keep it under wraps. And quite frankly, there's nothing that anybody can do about it. It's clear, James, that the video that they released was bullshit. And the fact that they aren't even attempting to hide this, James, the fact that it is such a bullshit cover-up. I mean, you got them saying, oh, there's no cameras, so there's no way we could tell who went in and out of his cell. There's no way we could tell who went in and out of his hallway. But yet then they show a video with a full 60 seconds missing saying, oh, this proves that nobody went in and out of his hallway. And then they show you It's just complete bullshit. For months, they're saying, oh, we have all these documents, the client list. Yeah, there's videos and this and that, truckloads of stuff being delivered. We're sifting through it now. We're going to give it to you. Now, all of a sudden, there's nothing, James. There's absolutely nothing. There's no client list. He never blackmailed anybody. There's no nothing. And that has got to be the most telling thing of all of this, James. And we've shown people today how, the head of the FBI, Kash Patel, his girlfriend has Israeli intelligence ties. Not with her boss. He's a former Israeli officer. The person that she works for, the Prager guy, he's mixed up in that world too. But then you've got also Mossad was part of the people that ran Jeffrey Epstein. That's why they want you to forget about that and focus on helping Israel. All of this has to do with taking your attention away from everything, putting it towards Israel. And that's all it's ever been about. And that's what everything's been about since this whole October 7th Hamas thing happened. And by the way, don't even get me started on Israel knowing about that, hours ahead of time, but letting it happen like freaking Franklin Delano Roosevelt and Pearl Harbor in 1941. Don't even get me started with that bullshit. But this is just corruption at its core, James. And we've, on this special episode, we did this episode so we could show everybody how corrupt it really was, how the video doesn't actually prove anything because it doesn't show anything. It's got a minute missing and there's other ways to get to his cell. It doesn't, and all the Israeli ties, and then the videos talking about how he wants to, us to just focus on Israel, James. So, honestly, we're going to end the episode shortly because this is what we just wanted to bring up, the fact that this is a lie. It's fake.
Let's not forget, you mentioned the Anthony Weiner laptop. Mm-hmm. Where's that? Okay.
Exactly.
Whose cocaine was in the White House? Who was the SCOTUS leaker? Where's the other 7,000 hours of the J6 tapes? What's your status on the Russia collusion?
Where's the bomber?
Russia. It's all of this stuff. It's all being covered up. We were promised justice and we're getting none of it.
Nothing.
And it pisses me off. This administration, they've closed down the border. That's great. And yes, they make decisions about the economy that are much better than Biden. Trump's a lot sharper than Biden. But these dark secrets.
We voted for justice.
We did. And we're not getting it. And
it's so secretive still, James. Nothing but secrets, still secrets about everything. And that's why we have to have our show, is to come on and reveal these secrets. Like we had to, for people that may take things what the government says, we have to come on here and show them why they're lying about how they're lying about it, with the videotape and the missing minute and all that other stuff that I just mentioned. That's why we come on here and do the special episode, because we have to prove that they are lying, that this is a cover up, that Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and possibly Donald Trump, at the very least, DOJ and FBI, are lying to the American people. They lied for months. They said they have everything. Now they have nothing. And James, there's been lies about everything. Like you've said, we have not had an iota of justice. And like I said on the last episode we did, in the first 4 years of Trump's presidency, did we have justice? No. Have we had justice in the first 6 months of Trump's presidency? Has he even mentioned justice anymore? Nothing is happening. The only difference between this presidency and the last is that this one isn't outright corrupt. The administration itself might be. That remains to be seen. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and say that I think Pam Bondi and Kash Patel might be corrupted. At the very least, they're being blackmailed to do something they don't want to do. That's at the very least.
How hard would it be to tell us who leaked the abortion decision from the Supreme Court? How hard would that be? How hard would it be to tell us whose cocaine was in the White House? Dan Bongino said on his show that he had sources that said they had the DNA. They knew who that coke belonged to. It would be easy to say that and say, we're not going to charge anybody, but this is who brought the cocaine. It's all a cover up. It just makes you think that, like many people have said over the ages, it really doesn't matter that much who's president. We kind of all bought into this Trump, this great guy. I'm really just kind of going, I think it's the same old shit, Jack. Seen it 1,000 times.
You're absolutely right. But it's like we talked about before, though. The president doesn't have any real power. You know, I mean, he might be able to hire and fire the DOJ person and the FBI person, but those people will just get replaced with the same people that'll be blackmailed for something else. But the president doesn't have any real power beyond nominating people. I mean, all he has is executive orders that aren't actually enforceable by anything. They're not enforceable by criminal punishment. So, I mean, the president doesn't really have any real power. So, yeah,
but,
I mean, the president
he runs the DOJ. The DOJ answers to him. I mean, he could give directions. You know what I mean?
I thought they answered to the attorney general, and then he just kind of runs the attorney general, if you will.
But the attorney general answers to the president. I mean, the attorney general serves at the president's pleasure.
Oh, I mean, they definitely do. I just don't know how far things have gone. I mean, you really don't know who's been blackmailed and who's not, who's in it and who's not. It's hard to tell these days, James. And that's why, you know, I'm glad you came on here with me today to do this, you know, just the special half-hour episode. We're about to get off in a minute, but I wanted us to talk about it for a second to let everybody know and show people how we know that it's definitely a cover-up. There's just what they're saying is a lie. They are lying to the American people. Kash Patel, Pam Bondi are lying. They should be fired or resign. Say again?
You know who said Jeffrey Epstein definitely killed himself? That's a lie. Period.
And how would he? Yeah, that's ridiculous. Based on a videotape that shows only one entrance to his tier when there's multiple entrances. I showed the diagram. There's multiple entrances. One video with a minute missing, by the way. He's gonna definitely say that this man killed himself. Yeah, that's unbelievable.
No, it's a lie. I mean, he flat out lied. And you know what? I had a lot of respect for all those people. And my respect has diminished greatly. I'm really interested to see what some of the heavy, big influence like Charlie Kirk and Benny Johnson. I just watched Benny Johnson. And like I told you, he did kind of let them off the hook.
Of course,
a little bit. But he also went after them pretty hard. But he did kind of give them an out saying, well, maybe they were given this information had already been deleted. So
no, see, that's the difference between you and me and the big influencers.
Well,
James.
And it doesn't work because they've already admitted that they had the information. Yeah. You know, I mean, was Bondi lying then or is she lying now? You know, and she was such a coward. She wouldn't even sign her name to that memo that was released.
Nope. The memo was released. She wouldn't even sign her name to it. She is a coward. And it's because she knows it's not true. She knows it's not true and she's being forced to do it, just like I'm sure Kash Patel is. Or maybe she's being forced to do it by, you know, who knows. But what I can tell you, James, is they are lying. And that's the difference between our show and the mega influencers. They do things based on, you know, basically their friends. Oh, Trump's a friend of mine, or Kash Patel's a friend of mine. You know, they won't come on my show anymore if I don't say this or that. No, you and I are going to tell the truth. I don't care if nobody ever comes on our show. We're going to tell the truth.
Yeah, I'd love to hear from our listeners. You know, let us know on X. What should we do? When I say we, I'm talking the American people, the MAGA movement, the people that believe in this movement. What should we do? You know, I mean, we need to do something. This can't just stand like this. It's not acceptable.
No, we can't let this stand, because if we let this stand, they're going to know they can get away with anything from the MAGA people, because this was one of the biggest sticking points, was justice. And the Epstein files were the biggest justice sticking point with the MAGA movement. And if we let this go, they know that we'll let anything go.
Yep, we can't let it go. We're going to stay on it, Jack. I appreciate you getting with me and doing this tonight. We appreciate Green Eyed Bot, Kay Brown, Deborah, all you people in the live chat. We love you guys. Let us know on X what you think we should do as a country and as a movement. I think we're going to all put our heads together and try and figure that out. I'm James Clary. He's Jack Danger. You've been listening to a special episode of Secret America. We'll see you Sunday.
You've been listening to Secret America with Jack Danger and James Clary.